hold on it, keep a hold. Gotta keep a hold on it, keep a hold. Hold on it, keep a hold. Gotta keep a hold on it. Yeah. Feeling like everything gonna be straight as long as these niggas don't get in my way. Feeling like every decision I made was
Thank everybody for checking out episode 3 of Who Raised These Niggas, Negus. I brought my bro John on. Me and John go way back. I think I met him, he was like 13.
Yeah.
He was young boy. So yeah. So I wanted to jump right into it. Who Raised These Niggas is about, black men kind of growing up, alone, raising themselves in some instances. You got some who had, fathers who was in prison, or mothers who was away, or mom might be at work. And in a sense, especially like right now, the summertime coming, you're not in school. It's just you and the niggas you hang with. You know what I'm saying? I got your back, you got my back. You end up feeding each other, everything. So I really just kind of wanted to give a conversation on, especially right now when we're going through it, outside these doors, a conversation on what we go through as young children, and kind of how it in turns to what happens out in the real world. So what I first want you to just kind of introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, where you from.
So my name is John Solomon. I am a co-founder of a nonprofit organization called Endangered Kind. We're a mobile advocacy group aimed at shifting perspectives on violence. Me being an individual that comes from the background of being involved in gun violence, I share a different perspective on it than most. So I try to share that perspective when I'm talking to other leaders or other community members that may not know what's going on in the streets. So that's kind of like the whole purpose of the creation of Endangered Kind.
Right. Okay. And where you from? I know you're from.
24th of Somerset.
24th of Somerset. It's a 2-4 bloodline.
Yeah, 2-4. Yeah.
For a lot of people that don't know, that's crazy because that between that name and then WC, that was like some WC. That was that was like some for us anyway, just being North Philly and from I grew up on 22nd Street, just being around. It had kind of how in the city now names had whole weight, but it should hold a lot of weight. And at the time, niggas was young.
Yeah, and it's crazy because over the years, what I found out was you even had younger kids that was in grade school that knew what was going on, and they was repping 2-4 Dub scene. Is you didn't really know. You can't really see when you're involved in that type of lifestyle who was watching. But that's something I found out later on.
Right. And
you have people in prisons throughout the city.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't know that. Yeah, I know, and it was a lot of lives were lost behind that shit. Yeah. That's actually a reason why my mom stopped letting me come down to Philly, because a lot of people was just dropping crazy. And then mine, like I said, we was 13, 14, 15, and shit was real at a young age. And I don't think that people realize that, they see kids and they think that, oh, that's a child. They don't realize how real their life get at such a young age. Granted, we 13, 14, but some be starting 11, 12, 10. So, it's more so sometimes we kind of feel like we don't have an option or a way to go other than that. So I know that you, me personally, but you as well, try to provide a space for, other kids that, let me show you a little something different so you don't go the same route that I went. Did you grow up in a single family home?
Yeah. My pop wasn't there.
Right, so it's basically with your mom.
Yeah, my mom. My mom.
Grandma. No, grandma was around.
Grandma. The woman was around.
Yeah, woman was around.
My mom, my grandma, my aunt.
Right.
They gave me a lot of support.
Right.
So
I think that play a role in what will go on a lot too. A lot of men. I personally, I don't think that women can raise men. Right? Yeah. And I don't think that men can raise women. Now, granted, they're going to grow and get older, but you can't make them be, except for the form of how you want a woman to be or a man to be. But you can't really raise them to be a man or a woman.
Definitely.
So I think that definitely plays a big role, and I think that also plays a role in why a lot of men out here kind of react to shit the way they do. Because not some women, but some they react a little different, quicker, angrier. Some will take it from a little something to your windows and all that. But so same with some guys who were raised by women where it'd be something small, and they'll take it into fight or gun violence or whatever. So I definitely think that, you know, being raised by women and having that lack of father in the neighborhood plays a big role on, you know, a lot of stuff that we go through and growing up. How you think that kind of played a role with your dad not being around, with, you know, the decisions you made at a young age?
Played a major role. Like, I didn't realize how much I needed that until I got older and became an adult myself.
Right.
You know, I got a mentor that kind of used a really good example of, you know, just growing up where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked about how, you know, a lot of black males that become successful doing something legit, they tend to have the mindset of, I want to make it out the hood.
Right.
Like, and that's a lot of people's mindset, but particularly those that want to make it out the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when that happens, and you're young, and you don't have a father in your life, you don't have no type of what they call a positive male role model in your life, the only thing you can see is the guys in the streets.
Right.
The you know, selling drugs, the guys that sell drugs, the guys that kill.
Yeah.
And it's like, to you as a kid, if you don't know better because you haven't had that father in your life, that stuff, like watching them do what they do on a day-to-day basis, and they got women, and they got money, and they got influence in the neighborhood, it's like, dang, like that's like, he the man, like he's successful.
Right.
And it's like, that person that is successful, that's doing something legit, he gone.
Right.
So it's like, me, I grew up around nothing but killers and drug dealers. Like, that's the people that knew who I was. They knew my mom. They knew my pop. You know, my pop wasn't in my life.
Right.
And my mom, all she dealt with was, unfortunately, yeah, that's the type of guy that a lot of females deal with.
Right.
So like, I was around that all the time. So when you see that on a regular basis, it's like, it shouldn't be surprising. Yeah, it's normalizing, and it shouldn't be surprising if a person goes down that path. So it's like, yeah, not having a pop in my life and not having the right people to let me know, all right, you see what they doing, but that ain't it. I can show you how to get money doing something different. I can show you how to build your confidence doing something different, something legit that's going to, you know, that you can be successful at doing, but you don't have to risk your freedom in your life doing it. And I didn't have that.
Yeah, so I agree. I think in that instance, it's kind of just who you see doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like in the hood, you know, everybody here to like, you know, I saw the trend.
Because the thing is, a lot of people think from the outside looking in, you could look at statistics. Statistically, there's always a small percentage of guys that go down the wrong path of being in the streets. It's like a 1% or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority, you know, they try to do the legit thing. And for you to have been exposed to the same elements I was exposed to, and to take the same route, man, that's dope. Because for me, you know, I grew up, and I talked to somebody about this recently. So growing up, of course, I was exposed to a lot of crime, but my intentions was never to go in the streets.
Right.
It's like, when I got to a certain age, things happened, and there wasn't no male role models that was in place to stop things from escalating.
Right.
And they escalated. And I found myself full time in the streets. And I didn't have intention. I never said I want to be like, oh, I want to be a killer, I want to be a drug dealer. I wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
Like, I had dreams of being something legit, but when you raised in an environment that we raised in, and you find yourself in situations where your life is threatened and there is nobody there that's in place to de-escalate that from happening, you don't have no choice but to run from it or fight against it. And I found myself, you know, I was fighting against it. So, you know, that's kind of like what happened with me.
It's funny that you say that though, bro, because I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, we just hung out, like, even when it was just me, you, and Mequan, like, Mequan was like, he was a hothead a little bit. Like, Mequan had it, well, I don't know if it was a dad, but I thought Mequan had his dad around, At least I thought it was his pop when I was growing up. Cause I just remember,
probably his uncle.
yeah, I just remember a man bringing. I ain't gonna lie. I remember a man bringing him a dirt bike.
Yeah, man, it's like
yeah, and I'm like, yo, like this is tough. Like, yo, like I want this. You know what I'm saying? And that I think that probably was my first time ever be feeling like envious towards somebody.
Yeah,
but it's because I didn't want the dirt bike. I just wanted the nigga to bring me the dirt bike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like my pop wasn't locked up. He was like running around doing his own thing. So I definitely know what you mean by like not having your dad, around and. Grown man shit come to your door even at a young age, and it's like you gonna be a grown man and handle this shit, or you going, you know what I'm saying, be a boy and tuck your tail. So a lot of us had to make the choice to be a grown man. Yeah. For me, I didn't really have too many like men in my family. I got maybe 5 in my family. The one who would, kind of more support would be like the protector. He was locked up. He got caught drugs and a gun. So my shit was always like fight or flight and who the fuck with me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand what you're saying about not wanting to, like wanting to be a doctor and not, planning on being in the streets, but when you like summertime, you doing this shit 365 days, or you just doing it in the summertime and you're not doing nothing else. Eventually, this is the life you.
Yeah, because trouble, where we come from, trouble is it's right there, man.
And my step-up always said, like, this trouble is easy to get into, hard to get out of. So that kind of stuck with me, too, just like, damn, I know I can do this, but getting out of this shit is going to be sweet. Yeah. And then, like, at a young age, we was losing, like, a lot of people. Like, niggas was dying for real down north behind a lot of stuff. So let me see. So you basically, you say you jumped off the porch, you start, using the streets. Did you start trapping before you start, kind of was more of the violence thing, or it was just straight to it?
Because, like, my mom, I've always been self-sufficient, even as a little kid.
Right, same.
So it's like, when I was a teenager, I had some type of resentment towards my pop. Mm-hmm. But as I got older, I kind of like accepted him for what he was. Right. And then I learned more about him and understood like the things that he battled with. Yeah. So I'm like, I ain't tripping. So we gotta cool. Feel a good relationship.
I think that's definitely like important for like a lot of people to come into, where you just really just kind of sit down. Because me personally, I felt that same resentment towards my pop until I really just kind of sat down and removed the whole father-son point. Kind of thought as a man. This is my mom probably don't like this, but I'm like, just being around my mom was like, I say, why nigga like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, you a little, because just dealing with women, or whatever my pop was dealing with, running around the streets. So I know like my little cousin Matt, like my little cousin doing 50 years right now, but his pop and my dad, my uncle, they all grew up, they got to run around. So it's like his pop got killed, Matt pop got killed, my pop friend Zach got killed. So niggas was just dying. So I ain't, like, granted, it's not an excuse not to take care of your kids, but it's just no telling how that was affecting them. So me personally, I just like, it's whatever, bro. There's no animosity. You think not having your pop around your life, or how you want to, is going to affect how you treat your own kids now? Going forward?
No. Well, yeah, in a good sense. Right. I studied the things that hurt me when I was younger, as a result of my pop not being in my life. So I know that I want to give my kids everything that I didn't have growing up. So, I learned from his mistakes, as we're supposed to learn from people that came before us. Mm-hmm. So he impacted me in a good way. Right.
So if he wanted to be your kids, like, you would be like accepting to that?
Yeah, I doubt if he'd be around, but as far as some meeting him or whatever, Right. At the end of the day, I'm a person of respect. Mm-hmm. He my pop, so I wouldn't keep my kids away from him or nothing like that. I let him be in their life as much as he wanted to be in their life. Right.
So basically, just kind of not wrap everything, but just kind of bring everything to not a close, but what I'm trying to say. But so 12, 13, you kind of around the streets, you kind of jump into the streets. Mm-hmm. 15, you get shot, or was it 15 you got shot? I
got shot 15.
Shot at 15. How old was you when you got arrested?
I got arrested at 17, 18.
17, 18. And you had to do what, 5 years, right?
I did 1 year placement, came home 4 months later, got arrested. I got locked up. I was booked for 5 years.
For 5 years. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So 1 year placement, then you came home and you got arrested for behind another case? Or?
Yeah, behind another case. I came home, you know, same time, still reckless. Situation happened, person got shot, got arrested for it, spent almost 5 years in prison.
So how do you think like the prison, you know, it helped you out? I mean, it definitely removed you from all the wildness that was going on out there.
In a way it did. So when I first, and I tell people this all the time, when I first got locked up, I felt like I was worse because I was around different type of guys with criminal minds, and I got more aggressive. It wasn't until probably the 2.5 years of being locked up, when I got sent upstate, is when the shift happened. Like I started building my spiritual life, and I started seeing life differently, from a different perspective, and for some reason, I started wanting better for myself. So I just, you know, I worked at it every day.
Like, what you do? Like,
well, I've always been like I felt like I had a large understanding of what I had to do.
Right.
So I started to watch my circle. That's like one of the first adjustments I made. I understood that if I wanted to